Hello, everyone, and welcome. Episode 89 of the Illiana Stock Car Radio Podcast. Jeremy Banning here, along with the brothers Goodacre, Brian and Chris.
No, Riley. Inside joke.
Back for the final installment of our promoter / season preview episodes with the Shadyhill Speedway on this episode. So, Brian, this was kind of your baby here, so to speak.
Yeah, getting dirty again.
Yeah, I think we're just going to throw them to the wolves here, and we're going to go hang out.
I think in a minute, we're going to do that. It kind of beats the floating heads, us just sitting here, just twiddling our thumbs,
Well, we're not floating heads tonight. We're actually here. We are physically in each other's presence.
We are in studio. No
Miller,
virtual
though.
stuff.
I mean, there is some
Miller, but not.
There's always Miller.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's not coming into shop.
Yeah. We are in studio. Usually we've been, I think we've done on location this year, and a lot of virtual since our last studio session. But we're back. But since our last episode, there's actually been some racing.
There has been.
Yeah. Spring Classic and Enduro.
We got to attend. I got to attend my very first Rockford Speedway event
At Grundy County.
County Speedway. Well, I guess that's kind of a thing, right?
It was a good time.
Yeah, that's one I got on you. Is I went to Rockford back in the early 90s for an Argo show.
You did.
You guys went to our great-grandfather's funeral, so.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a common theme we've already talked about off camera with him missing events.
Yeah.
So, I think we'll get to more of that probably later.
I mean, we're totally recording this in order and not afterward.
Hey, man, just the magic of editing. It's a wonderful thing.
That's right.
It is a wonderful thing. So what do you guys think about the Spring Classic?
I'm up to 3 hot dogs.
It's 3?
What was
really all of that racing, and that's your takeaway from the weekend?
Damn
is 3 hot dogs?
Cost $8.
I know, and
He's
it was
proud
like
of-
3 regular hot dogs.
He's proud of that hot dog, man.
Yeah. Give me my $2.75 Shadyhill dog any day of the week.
Yes, but you had 1 hot dog at Grundy. How many are you going to have at Shadyhill?
Probably 4.
In a night?
Yeah.
Okay. See?
Hungry boy eats, man.
Yeah, we gotta somehow make the tally somewhere. We gotta keep a.
I was gonna say we gotta put that down on the bottom corner.
Yeah, that's why we needed the whiteboard.
Oh yeah,
the hot dog counter.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to see if I can't find that marker and see if we can't do that. But Spring Classic, what did we think? How'd the night go? Looked like a decent car count.
It was a great car count.
Yeah.
That was the most I've seen in the pits in a while, if not like the Bettenhausen or a big race.
Right.
You got your normal. Everybody that's here is going to be here, but yeah, the pits were just packed. I loved it.
20 in the late models and like 20 in the mid AMs.
Yeah,
20 in the Super Cups.
Yeah, and then the Sixers had a
Little Tykes late models.
Little Tykes late models.
Burn, man. Burn.
Well, that's just because we don't have a good Super Cup wrap template yet.
Yet.
The
Goodacre design needs that.
Yeah.
It's on the list of things.
I've been keeping them busy.
Been busy shooting and busy working. Goodacre Design has launched their first public wrap and looks to hit the track next Saturday, which we'll get to here in a minute.
Yeah. And also the Enduro at Plymouth this past weekend as well.
I was... I know they didn't get quite the car count they were looking for, but it was rescheduled to 3 weeks later. But even so, they had a really good turnout, and it was, I was down there in the infield with a bunch of photographers that I don't think had ever really experienced an enduro before, because they were just completely floored that they went 50 laps caution, 100 laps caution free. Well, it's an enduro; there aren't any cautions, but there really weren't any incidents in the first half of the race. We had a few reds, towards the second half because the cars just, were starting to break down. You have that in enduro, but yeah, that was pretty good. And, the usual suspects finished up front, but you're going to have that. And yeah, I think it was a good experience all around for Plymouth, getting their feet wet really, because they had 1 last year, I think. And I want to say they got 2 on the schedule this year.
Right. Yeah. Like you said, kind of with the rescheduling and just, it's been April.
Yeah, you'll have that anytime you have like even the rescheduled a week later Spring Classic. You had people that had already made plans and were elsewhere, but then you picked up a couple of cars that couldn't have made the first one anyway.
Yeah, it usually kind of ends up being a wash. No pun intended. But
He's here all night, folks.
Yeah, exactly. Make sure to tip your waitress and try the veal.
Or the hot dogs.
Or the hot dogs. Or the corn
Or the
dogs.
corn dogs. I know we're letting out that we did this afterwards.
It's okay. It's all right.
Well, as much has happened between the interview and the us pretending that this is before the interview.
I know. Yes, again, the magic of editing. It'll be a wonderful thing here in a minute.
Yeah.
You guys will get it. But the preview, tonight's episode, before I do that, YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to like and hit that subscribe button there. And we appreciate you watching there. Also, if you're an audio podcast listener catching us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts, wherever, make sure you subscribe, like, rate, review, all that good stuff. That helps us. And it helps you to know when we drop these episodes. We've had a lot of them so far this year. As we've lead up into the 2024 season and leading up to the Shadyhill season for 2024. Unfortunately, it'll start maybe a week later than kind of what we thought. And, Billy and Tammy will talk about that here in just a little bit with you. But I don't know if there's really much left to do, but bring Billy and Tammy on and
Throw me to the wolves.
Throw them to the wolves. And
If
throw
anything else, we could do a
wolves
rain dance first because I got this feeling it's going to be one of those wet years again.
Yeah,
I hate wet years.
It's looking like it, but maybe it'll dry out quicker than we think. So
I hope so.
Does that mean the corn crop will be good?
Maybe not.
Bumper crop. Farmers good.
I don't
Farmers
know.
like racing. Farmers raised.
Hey man, you need all that grain stuff to make that Miller Lite right there. So
Corn makes whiskey.
there you go. Well, that's all
beer.
and that's all we can
Barley
say, or
makes
else
beer.
we'll get a copyright infringement, and
Yeah.
it'll be more than that.
I think we got that last episode.
we
I danced the can around the camera.
yeah. So let's bring them on, Billy and Tammy from Shadyhill Speedway, and we'll throw Brian to the wolves in the hot seat, and he'll take.
We're
over
gonna take
from
the
here.
night off.
Yeah. Chris and I are just gonna go sit over there. So
Don't go too far.
yeah,
Oh, we'll see.
we'll see. So enjoy.
All right, welcome Billy and Tammy back at Illiana Stock Car Radio. Here with us today to talk about the upcoming 2024 race season over at Shadyhill Speedway. How are you guys doing?
Great. Thanks for having us.
Good.
Yeah,
You took my line.
Let's start with how the track is. You guys made a Facebook post that we're bumping the opener back. Look, to hope to get practice in this weekend. You got quite a bit of water all around the property. How are things going?
Well, they're not going good. April showers came true. Just what it is. When it rained a lot. And it rained every third day. It was just perfect rain all the time. Just kept it flooded. All the ditches are flooded. Farms are flooded. So not a lot we could do. So we made the decision Monday because you couldn't even get on the track with anything. And it's not possible to get clay to dry that quickly. And so we just said, well, we'll push it back and, so we don't get everybody's hopes up and do something that's really not realistic, to get all that stuff done. So we said maybe have a practice. And so, and it's a maybe,
Right.
So,
right.
But anyway.
Yeah. How are the concessions coming? I know Tammy and I have been in talk quite a bit here doing graphic things, but I know you said you were slaving away on the concession stand. Is everything on that end getting cleaned up nice and ready to go?
Yeah, I'm almost ready. I just have one building left.
Good.
It's a lot of work, but it's clean. It's looking great.
Yeah, I saw Kittle was out there doing roof. Shout out to Kittle Quality Roofing. Not that he pays for advertising, but there you go. At least with us, anyway. So opening night was scheduled for Saturday, May 4th with the White Lightning. It's been pushed back. Big change this year, I guess you could say, is as far as classes are concerned, they're all the same. Going to continue with Rebel 8 models, but the Lucky 7 is no longer Lucky 7. It's they got 14 nights on the schedule. Why don't you talk about your decision, when you guys kind of came to that decision?
In general, it all worked when Plymouth was running with us. That was the thing that I had called Plymouth and said, hey, let's try this out. They were getting the average car count, so were we. We said, I told them, let's not compete. We'll have races, you'll have races. So it worked good for years. And then when Plymouth went to asphalt, and then we had a major dose of bad luck as far as the Lucky 7. They got rained out 3 times out of 7.
Yeah.
And so, that's just how it was. And for 2 or 3 years, it was like they just got rained out and rained out. So it just, we tried to find other tracks that would pick them up and stuff. And so the guys were basically saying, I'm not going to race it if I'm only going to run 3 times. And I get that.
Yeah.
You know, but I felt like we're the ones being, you know, everybody's complaining to us, but it was really, you know, the change with Plymouth and stuff like that. So we just came up with a thing that we said, okay, let's try to add it, see what happens. They're excited, so we'll see. I don't know what'll happen, but I told them, of course, we can't race for that kind of money. I mean, that's
Right.
incredible money. So we did the best we could with the money we got. And, we'll see. They all seem pretty happy so far, so we'll see how it goes.
Good.
So
They say this is what they want, that they'll take less money if they can race more often. So
Well, we'll call their bluff and see how this season turns out. I know they're a very competitive class. I know a lot of local guys try to get out here for that. I know there's a little bit of difference in the cars between UMP and the division that we run at Shadyhill that may prevent guys from coming. But I know that they've always been a big supporter of Shadyhill, and I know doing the program of the champs, stock cars have almost always been out there. Whereas other classes are here and there.
Yep.
So moving on to the schedule. Kicking things off with White Lightning next Saturday, May 11th. Why don't you talk about that race? I know that was one of your design races that as you kind of had around for a little while, and this is going to be the 8th annual at Shadyhill this year.
it really started off with an idea when I was in North Carolina, my track. We were entering a new millennium. And I thought, we have to kick off. You're not going to see another 1,000 years. At least I don't think we'll live 1,000 years. But I thought, well, we got to do something cool. And so that's where I came up with the concept of the 10 fastest, 10 laps. And I think it was 5,000 to win for a go-kart race. And it was cool. It went over really well. They're like, we got to do something again next year. So we continued that for a while. Then we brought it, when I moved back up here, kind of brought it to Lake Village, and then brought it over to here. So that's kind of where we're at. So it's just it's a cool way to kick it off. Like who's badass, who's fast, like a showdown should be. It's 10 laps, and it's when you think about the race, like Kurt Spalding a couple of years ago started 10th. Yeah, if you remember that, started 10th. I remember. And passed everybody and won it. So I mean, you can pass. It's the way they draw just makes it exciting. So it's just a complimentary way to the modifieds to kick off the year. Then we're underway. Yeah, I think that was the year I told Tammy the incorrect spelling of Kurt Spalding's name. Yeah, that night will forever live in infamy.
That's okay. Now we know how to spell it. We won't forget.
That's right.
He took it great. He didn't care.
Yeah, the last 2 times we spelled it correctly. So after that, we move into the Shadyhill 500, which was started last year, and we had much like the Indianapolis 500, 33 cars for 4 bangers. I wasn't there. I was at a wedding, so I missed it. But I can't wait to experience it this year. Why don't you talk about last year since I missed it?
Well, you should talk about it. It's a race. It was awesome. I can tell you that. But, I'm running around doing a lot, so I don't get to really sit and watch races. Yeah. But he has to, so and likes to, so. Yeah.
I guess in general, I wish social media and people would just understand that I'm a person just like you, and it was just an idea. But when I put it out there, instantly, you'll never get that many cars, and they'll wreck every car. That's stupid. This sucks. I mean, and you get tired of reading it after a while, and then it rattles your confidence a little bit. And you say, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. That's it. And if it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. And so I like the idea. Yeah, it's just a tip off the Indianapolis 500. How if you've ever been to the 500. We got seats, right in turn 1, front row. When you watch 33 cars funnel into turn 1 at 200 miles an hour, it's amazing. And I thought, how cute. Let's do this with the 4-bangers, And it was a great race. When they all lined up and all 33 of them came out, I thought they drove a great job, So that's why we're looking at it next year, again, or coming up, So it was fun. I think it was successful. And I try to look at races like what would make me go. And I look at that, I thought, hell, I'd want to watch that. That's cool. And the 4-bangers are neat. They're one of my favorite classes. I miss over the winter, that's the noise I miss, those cars. But fun race. I know Tammy's a 4-banger fan, so.
I'm a fan of every class we have. But yes, there's so many good people in it. It's cool. And to watch them grow up and go to the next class. And it's neat.
And you talk about having fun. That's one thing that, we got to reiterate to these racers, man, it's about fun. And what was more fun than watching Guy Sutton win the race and Kevin DeYoung dump that gallon of milk over his head? I saw the pictures, so I did see that. And I mean, that's just having fun, know?
Yeah, and don't forget he started 32nd. I mean, crazy. In other
Yeah.
words, you can pass. It's
a great
anybody's
story.
game. It was entertaining.
Yeah.
That's like you said. That's what it's all about. So
Right. And so from four bangers, we move on up to the your kind of specially designed class, Rebel late models, the steel blocks. They get a special show Memorial Day weekend with the Brewster Baker Classic. Sorry, words are hard tonight.
Too much of this.
Not enough, maybe.
Not enough, okay.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Brewster Baker. Last year we had Robbie Stills come, shot some T-shirts, played one of the characters. I can't think of the guy's name. Swifty, yeah. And the late models, yeah, it's a growing class, but I think that they put on a good show when they were there.
Once again, when I came up with the idea, I can't say I came up with the idea. I talked to some drivers about it, and it's a division that makes me want to put the helmet on.
Yeah.
It's cool. But of course, when we announced it, all the people, it's stupid,
everyone's got
sucks,
their
never
opinion.
gonna make it, it's crap, and well, we'll try and see, because I wasn't real thrilled with the crates, just all the bickering and all the things. I've built a lot of motors in my time, and all the areas I know that I could cheat if I wanted to, and this was a class with a little more horsepower and a little, it's a blue collar kind of, if you're an engine guy, you can build your motor, and ain't a whole lot to it, and you can buy an older late model and come racing with us. And we got a few guys that are kind of seeing what that's all about, you know. So, and they look good out there, and truly, you could pull the motor and put a big super late model there and go run a Hell Tour race if you want to, or you could run another track, So but yeah, it's for the guy that works all week, and he's basically going to run Shadyhill, wants to run a late model.
Yeah.
I remember when I got my first late model, and they're fun to be in. They're so big, that big nose out there, just looking out over the hood and stuff. It's a great class.
Yeah, we'll have to bring Danita Hines on and ask her about her opinion going from four banger to a late model.
It's about as radical as it gets, but
yeah.
I'm sure she'll handle it.
I know Straka talked about his jump from four bangers to modifieds, and he said that he had to completely relearn how to drive. Completely different. And last season is almost like a tale of four different seasons. We had Darren Wireman kind of own the first part, and then Lynn Johns through the middle, and their late Kyle Cooper and Chris Cuddle's car. And Jace Owens with his crate motor came and won some features.
That's the point. You get like 8 cars, but you got 5 that can win. You know, and so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. So moving on from Memorial Day weekend, we head to July for the 24th annual Firecracker 50. Let's talk about that and the heritage of that race, and continuing on, and all the long list of winners that they've had.
All I know is they had that race for a long time before we bought the track. I don't know what to tell you about it.
We may have talked about this before, but the fireworks show is like what people want to see. And never once did I ever dream of doing fireworks, okay? But as things turned in America, what was it, $5,000 for the fireworks show? Then they wanted $7,500. Then they wanted $10,000. And let's face it, that's a lot of hot dogs to sell just to do some a fireworks show. Plus, it's a big payout. Plus, it's like whatever. And so, and they just weren't happy about it. They're like, it's $10,000. Like, I consider that a lot of money, And so, Tammy had the big idea, and I have to give all kudos to her. So we went to ATF school, and we got our
Pyrotechnic
all the
license.
all the stuff. And so we took. It was a big investment initially, but we took over the fireworks, and it is it's crazy.
It's cool.
So
I love it.
I don't know what war is like, but I feel it's close. It shakes the ground. Boom. It's crazy fun, but at least it's affordable again, because you see a lot of places don't do fireworks anymore because it takes a license to do it. It takes it's a lot of money. But long story, we wanted to keep wanted to keep the fireworks tradition going, and I've always said, even before I owned Shadyhill, if you want to see a good modified race, go to Shadyhill. There's just modifieds absolutely are awesome. So happy to have it always.
Yeah. So following that, we've got the big Hell Tour. I know last year we were scheduled for a 10K, 5K absolute banger of a race that unfortunately rain won that one. But we followed up again this year with the Tuesday nighter, July 9th.
Yeah.
Is that 5K to win again? Modifieds too? I know it's been kind of hit or miss on what schedule you see if the modifieds are running with, but I think the last I saw that they were scheduled.
Yeah, they're definitely scheduled. We added a third class too. I don't have my schedule with me at the moment, but yeah, looking forward to it. It's
it might be stock cars. I can't remember.
yeah. I don't want to say for sure, but
Yeah.
it's
I know it's on there. We did the schedule, yeah.
But yeah, it's something. It's cool, to have the tour come in there and was it Tuesday night or something like that. But we hope, like last year we did all the work and right up to the
I think I delivered beer the week before.
Just poured.
Getting ready for the big crowd.
Yeah.
So,
and then you guys were left with all that beer. It was still cold 3 weeks later when we finally got a race in.
There you go.
Yeah. What advantage does having a big class like? I know we talk about late models and everybody loves a late model. What advantage does that have to you as a promoter, track owner, bringing in an outside class like that?
First off, financially, nothing.
I was going to say, do you want us to be honest?
Yeah, be honest.
Truly, it's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in racing, let's face it, it's changing. You got, dirt vision, and you got flow racing, and you got you got Biden running the country with high gas prices. I mean, people don't travel as much, and food costs and whatever. And it's it's a big dollar race to have it. It's a privilege to have it.
Yeah.
But it's big poker for Tammy and I that we hope that it's not a bad forecast or whatever. But like when we had it a couple of years ago, when Bobby Pierce, when you see a lot of really cool people at your track, and it's exciting. But,
I think Nick Hoffman was there too.
Yeah, and it's hard. You kind of hope to break even. That's really about it. But it's just memories you make.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And people talk about it and stuff. So it's just like when a few years ago we had John Schneider. I had one of our racers. He was like, I was wrenching on my car, and all of a sudden I look up, there's John Schneider in the general lead. He goes, you don't see that very often. So memories,
Yeah, certainly. And then, so moving on from there, we have a few more shows, and looking at 720 and the Enduro 100, and that's becoming a big thing again. Are the Enduros? Grundy has 4. Plymouth just had one. They might have a second one. I'm not sure. Chris can confirm that backstage there. And then I know Kankakee is adding one to their schedule, and their Enduro racing is back. We talk about it the past 3 episodes with doing our promoter roundtable, if you will. And I know you guys had one at Shadyhill a few years ago. I can say we, but I wasn't there that day either. But
seeing a trend,
I was. I missed the good ones, I guess. But what was your decision to bring that back?
The transponders, the scoring, it helps. And it should be fun. Hopefully, it's fun. You know what I'm saying? It's entertaining. It's something
cool.
different.
Yeah.
So it helps with the scoring. That's the biggest thing. So
I will ask one question: is that on top of like a regular race night, or is that it for the night?
No, it's a regular race. They'll be like the last
okay,
coming
gotcha.
out. So they'll be the highlights.
Gotcha. So anybody wondering, we have a regular race night that night too.
Yes.
Cool. And then move into August.
But you probably won't be there though, right?
Probably not. Not at this rate. Moving into August, we're bringing back Steve Showman Wells. He was there at Illiana back when we were there doing the drive through the car thing, and again, another night I missed. My brother was there.
Oh, jeez.
If I'm going to be a track photographer, I should probably start showing up. Huh?
Maybe.
But we're bringing him back in August, and I assume your decision to do that was something different, something fun, something exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I think nowadays it's harder to find that stuff. Like when we were growing up, you had the Joey Chitwood shows and things like that, and now it's even like some of the trailer races, it's hard to find people that are nuts. I was in some bus races and I realized, hey, you can get hurt out here. Steve's cool. I think he gets antsy to do stuff like that. And so I know you guys got a real great photo of Steve a couple of years ago when he was there. I guess Chris probably took it. But
it was Chris
smashing all the cars. I know Rhonda has it up in her shop. It's cool.
That's one of my favorite photos. I love it.
And what a neat thing, to see that. To hear the that smash. I mean, we weren't there, of course.
Yeah. I saw it at Illiana.
Right, but it is cool, you know.
Yeah.
And, nice. So we're looking forward to whatever he's going to do. He hasn't even really told me yet what he's doing.
I was going to say, last I knew, he keeps that under wraps.
Yeah.
It's not until
we usually
last
know,
minute.
but
Yeah.
and we try to give the crowd different specials. You know, not the same thing every year.
Right.
So you know, that's
because
why
last year was Dave the Bullet Smith
Right.
again. He's pretty cool.
he's
I got
very
some
cool.
good shots of that. I was there for that one.
Oh, you were?
I was.
Okay.
I was in fact there.
He's a good guy.
Yeah. And then a couple nights we have the Dirt Olympics. I'm there for those. It's a good time. But why don't you guys talk about those? I know it takes quite a bit of planning to get those together.
It does. We've never had two of the same events yet.
Right.
And so we keep a tally who's won the most. I think who has won the most? Modifieds,
you
maybe.
guys.
But anyways, it's just something fun to do.
Yeah.
And it bonds each division together. You know, your point leaders, your team captain, and we keep that secret too. We don't tell you what you're going to do. You're going to like them this year, though. There's a couple of good ones. But if memory serves me correct, did we kick field goals last year?
We kicked field goals, and late models had to cheat because they had Scott Duvall, who apparently was on the 49ers roster. It's probably back in the 80s.
That was amazing and surprising.
Yeah, it hit the poles and went through. Yeah, you couldn't ask for better.
That was great. And tetherball.
Yeah, tetherball.
Which the kids love. When that's up on the midway. Yeah. Huge hit. Billy told me it would be. I'm like, okay. And he was right.
Well, on rainouts, I guess we'll have to have tetherball competitions.
There you go. But yeah, you're going to go, wow, I can't believe you guys did that one this year. When you see it, you'll like it. So
I'm excited.
Have your camera ready.
And then finishing up the season with the Mission 100. Again, another one of your design races. 100 laps modified race with the break at 50. They all pit on the front stretch, which is cool. You know, fans don't get to typically see that, and you bring it live right in front of them. And, you know, I'm wandering around with the camera taking pictures, and, you know, they're changing tires and fueling up and maybe changing a shock or something. And
sure.
Last year, Cole Falloway won a cool $12,000, you know, so it's a one hell of a payday.
Sure.
You know, certainly made his trip from Kentucky worth it.
I think he was there the year before, got second. He came back and got the job done. So, yeah, good for him, of course. But, another race that I think you should. That stems from Illiana, the Bettenhausen, but just a little bit of a twist, as far as letting the guys work on it. What I like about this is no cut down to NASCAR, but I think what I like about dirt is it's such blue collar guys. And you see that when they get out, the drivers under the cars working, they're dirty. They know what to do, they know what wrenches to get. It's very hands on. And so it's still got that old NASCAR feel to it. And I think it's great too for the fans to look down. Then who made the right adjustment, who didn't, and I know some of the guys kind of were hoping to go forward, but they ended up going backwards. So, but and it's good, big long race. It's a good way to end the year, and even like now, we haven't had a single car on the track since Cole Falloway was in Victory Lane. That's it. That's how we end it. That's how when we come back, it's back to the White Lightning. So. But fun race. Hopefully, it's fun for the guys.
Yeah. So, I know it's probably a little daunting. A 25-lap feature, 30-lap features. Hard enough already. When I was actually talking to Travis Larson last year, and they went 50 laps green, no cautions for the firecracker. He got out of the car huffing and puffing like he needed a caution. So to do 100 laps, even with cautions and the break, I'm sure is still you got to be up for the task.
Yeah. It's definitely a lot of G-force, but they're tough.
Yep, and we're bringing in with them the ASCT Sprints, which is a brand new series I found, and only has 4 events actually. So that's got to be exciting, kind of groundbreaking, if you will.
Yeah, a little bit. We're very lucky. We have so many divisions that call and want to race. I don't know where to put them all. I don't have the staff to do Fridays and Saturdays anymore. I'm not as young as I used to be, but we fit in the sprint cars because they've been asking for years. We had the midgets and stuff, and looking forward to it.
And they're 360 sprints. Is that what it said?
Should be cool.
Wing sprints. Maybe that was the other side I clicked on because there was one that was close, but it was something different.
Okay. Honestly, I don't know a lot about it. I just know that
Their sprints and
Their sprint car.
they're coming to Shady Hill.
Good.
Brian, you got to remember we make the schedule and do all that in the winter. That's been a long time for us to remember.
Right. And there's just the last 3 weeks it's been
Right.
crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
Whether you're cleaning the concession stand or testing the waters, because
there's always
it's
something.
only water.
Yeah.
You're lucky to get on the track, you know?
Very true.
Yeah. So what are some of your goals for this year? What are you guys excited about most?
To not have so many rainouts, hopefully.
I
I'm not
know
in
that
control
one.
of
Yeah.
that, but
Right.
I don't know. Just personally, I just want to try to relax a little more, read it all and soak it in.
Yeah.
You know, and it's so busy at the end
Right.
of the night. You're just like, oh my gosh, you know,
Yeah.
so much happens. You like, it takes days to process it all.
Right. And then it's
in your
race
head.
day again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so that's my personal goal, to try to just take a deep breath and enjoy it, because
Yeah.
you know it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's exciting. It's tiring, but it's worth it.
It's fun. It's
Yeah.
fun. Most days.
It makes you wonder, like, when you see about Pillier and Gas City and
Yeah.
the tracks closing up, we know why. I mean, it is so much work. It's I don't want to bore you to death. There's
No.
so much work to do that it's insane.
Right.
It really does.
And-
And it's
And how many people show up to help you do that work through the week? I mean, I got a pretty good guess what that answer is.
I mean, it's okay that we do all the work ourselves, you know.
Right.
I mean, even
We
the
try.
garbage on Sunday, you know, the garbage man comes Monday at 6 a.m, so
Yeah.
you got to have everything done. It's a lot. You
I
know,
have to
it's-
do all my orders Monday morning, so I do
Yeah.
all that inventory on Sunday when I'm
Right.
tired.
Better stock up on beer this year. We got it in stock right now.
Okay, they're coming tomorrow. First order of the year.
Perfect. Great. Just in time for practice.
Yep. Well, I'm not going to have the beer open during practice. Sorry,
I
Brian.
know. Maybe
We will have the pit concession open with food, just a little in the pits.
Great. That means more hot dogs for me.
Right.
So a few episodes ago, I took an over under on how many hot dogs I'd eat this year at the racetrack. And I set it at 44 and a half, and we're at 3.
Well,
Yeah.
Wow.
I hope
So-
you achieve your goal.
Me
That's
too.
it.
That's my goal.
2 racetracks. or
That's
just
at
the-
wherever I show up at whatever
Oh, okay.
racetrack I'm at, which should be Shady Hill on Saturdays.
Say, have you tried our corn dogs? They're pretty
No.
awesome. Oh my gosh,
Does that count?
they are
course they would.
Confirmed they
hand-dipped.
count.
I'm not, because I own the place. They are the best corn dogs that I've ever tasted. They're fantastic. So
Well, we're
I
very
recommend
excited
them.
for the
That's what
upcoming.
that's what we try to
season.
do.
Yeah.
Keep all of our prices way down. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so, try to pay the people.
Right.
and, I mean, it's
Yeah.
a little different now.
Not too many people show up to work for free these days.
Yeah, it's a little different. But
I felt my brother staring a hole through my head on that one.
We have a great crew.
Yeah. You want
We
to thank them
really
real
do.
quick?
Sure.
Go ahead. You have the
Oh,
floor is yours.
All of them? How about this way?
Yeah.
The track staff, Billy's guys on the track,
Yeah.
they're great.
there's like 40 people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Literally
and then
every
in the
week. That's what people don't
concessions.
understand. Like, and then she's
Right.
got all the payroll, and
The gate people, the photographers.
Yeah.
I thank you very much for your help with
I
the
hear they're-
souvenir program.
I hear they're all right.
and all the stuff I email you. Would you please
Yeah.
design this real quick?
Yeah. Yeah.
you guys do great.
I
You
enjoy
really do.
doing it. Thank you. We
You really
appreciate
do.
that. Yeah.
I always tell the story. I knew Chris years ago at Illiana. I used to look at his stuff and like, damn, this guy's organized. It looks good. And there was, there just wasn't a lot of people there. It's like he wasn't
Right.
selling a lot. And, so
Yeah.
I hope you do good at Shady Hill. I hope the people are good to you.
Well, we
So,
do enough to keep coming back.
Well, there you go.
That's all.
guys are
And we're having
great.
fun. We're having fun.
I feel like I'm interviewing you now. So
That's
I'm
okay.
on this.
That's what this is
I
all
feel like I'm on
about.
this Stormy Daniels
But-
couch right here.
We
So.
have to give credit to Billy's dad, Dave.
Yeah.
Tries to come like once a week, and my mom.
Yeah.
She's there with me once a week or 3 times a week, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Those are our 2 biggest helpers. And then on race day, we have huge, 31, 32
Yeah.
people, whatever.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
exciting. Well, we are certainly excited for a fun 2024 season down at Shady Hill Speedway, and we look forward to seeing most Saturdays, hopefully every Saturday.
That would be great.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you,
Thanks for
Brian.
having us.
Thank you, Chris.
And that was our interview, or Brian's interview.
Yeah.
Billy and Tammy from Shady Hill
Good job.
Speedway. Good
You did-
job.
you did good.
I think I'm going to retire.
Yeah.
Semi-professional podcaster.
and
semi-professional
rodent remover.
Rodent herder.
Yeah, so a little behind the scenes action here.
Literally.
Before we get to the interview here. So Chris and I are sitting off, and I hear just some thumping down here. We're in a basement. Behind the scenes action. It may not look like it, but we're
Professional studio.
Professional studio
In
in a basement. And not like an OnlyFans kind of thing either, but no basement. So Chris and I are sitting off the side. My sump pump pit's down over there, and it's been wet, a lot of moisture. So I just keep hearing this bang, bang, bang. What the hell's going on? We're walking Billy and Tammy out. I just see a rabbit in my egress window, and not like a little itty bitty baby, like a good decent sized rabbit.
Didn't have any carrots.
No carrots.
Probably should have taken that left turn at Albuquerque.
And it did not say "What's up, Doc" either. So yeah, that was quite the deal to remove that, because obviously I don't want to leave it down there. It couldn't get out.
Scale of 1 to 10 on how petrified Shiloh was when I handed her to the bucket with the rabbit in it.
1,700.
That was and probably also not a smart idea for me to kind of give her the whole heebie-jeebies when we're looking at it.
Yeah, that was on you.
I'll pay for that. I'm sure. But moral of the story is I need to put a cover over my egress window, because that's now, I think, the second rabbit that's gotten down there. We've got mice and frogs and stuff down there. It usually ends up in that. So yeah, semi-professional rodent removal. So if you need your pests removed,
I think this is
call somebody who knows what they're doing.
This would be a good time to use the Lakeshore Jake. One call, he does it all.
See, where was that a little while ago, man? We just brought him in here, and so this is what it was, man. We were just sitting there figuring out a plan to get this thing out of the egress window, and Brian just gloves up and lets her rip. I mean, that's
Well, at least it was an elevator, not just.
Yeah, exactly. We did. It was very
he put those gloves on. He's just gonna chuck this thing. It's gonna land wherever.
This is our PS here. No rabbits were harmed in the making of this podcast.
One Shiloh might have been
scared, probably.
When I did go to grab it, and that thing damn near hopped out, I'm like, oh, this ain't gonna work. So luckily, you emptied the bucket of water and used the bucket. Got it out.
Menards bucket, $5 Menards bucket, and
Shiloh was
shoot it in the bucket.
Shiloh was not ready to be handed that bucket.
Yeah, I don't think she thought all the way through that half of your plan.
I don't think we thought through that part of the plan.
I saw where it was going. I
did not think we thought through that plan. It's just, we made it work.
The bunny is free.
The bunny is free. It has taken off.
We're back to podcasting.
Yeah. So now
we got to remember what the interview.
Now you got to remember that interview.
Great. So, now I'm going to get phone calls to help remove rodents.
Yeah, that's it. You got a new side gig.
Yep.
Goodacre rodent removal.
Rodent removal and design. But no, interview went really well.
I love their honesty. I mean, they're an open book, and the brutal honesty is every idea that we come up with and we put out there, there's gonna be someone that has their own opinion on
or
why it's not
gonna
work, or a photographer that doesn't show up. Well, it just so happens that the 3 events we talked about, I
so happens
missed.
To be that way.
Yeah, talk about bad luck, right? But obviously, everyone sees me there. I miss 1 or 2 weeks, maybe, depending on what kind of wedding schedule I have. I need less friends, I guess.
Yeah, it works out well for me.
At least less friends that are getting married. But
don't you have are your friends married yet? Where are you finding these friends that aren't?
I thought so, but we just keep making new ones. Anyway, that'll be a fun wedding. I'm excited for. But yeah, it's I really like Billy and Tammy and their honesty. And honestly, I don't think any of our promoters that we talk to are by any means less honest. Just I kind of get the spokesperson kind of.
Yeah, you get promoters from the other promoters.
We're promoting, and we sit down with Billy and Tammy, and I mean it's honesty, and that's what we need is some realists. And they're doing everything they can and to make this thing go, and they've just had some terrible luck with weather.
Yeah, definitely the last several years it has been it has been rough, especially to run a dirt track where the moisture content, just everything. I mean, it's so dependent on having the perfect mixture.
Yeah, all the pictures they've posted just the entire time we've been out there, just that is just mud soup.
Yeah. It doesn't help that the track was built into a side of a hill,
right,
with not great drainage.
Yes, yeah, always.
They're kind of playing with one hand tied behind their back, sort of thing.
but they've done well with it. They've done what they can with it, and unfortunately, this weekend's race will be pushed back a week to try and get some practice in this week, though. On Star Wars weekend, May the 4th be with everybody.
Or Cinco de Mayo if you're out of Plymouth.
Cinco de Mayo, yeah. Either way, to each their own. However you want to take it in, whatever. Hey, maybe celebrate both. Star Wars one day, tacos the next day. It doesn't matter. But I do think some of the unique events they have are great. Obviously we've been every promoter we've talked to has pretty much agreed that you can't just have a standard night anymore.
Right.
That just doesn't work. So special events like the White Lightning, that Mystery 100 they were talking about.
Can we talk about race design? Is that even a thing? Billy could probably have a whole second career as a race designer.
Yeah.
Race design. I mean, it is. And when he was talking about, where he pulled inspiration from some of these events and some of the things that, I never really thought about it like that before, or, think about, well, what do they do down south? And what do they do? What do they do? Maybe not in stock cars. What do they do in karting? What do they, what do they do in road racing? Or, what do they do in other disciplines that maybe we can adapt and just get kind of people thinking or buzzing a little bit,
Yeah. And all the promoters we talk to, I got to give them credit because they're not sitting around just promoting their track. Billy and Tammy, they go on a winter tour and visit. I know Joe DeBello is always posting that he's at some different track down in Florida. Goes to all the promoter conferences. Tony, every time Tony goes on a vacation somewhere, he's visiting a racetrack there, which I've been accused of in the past. Oh, where you want to go on vacation? Why? Is there a race there?
Yeah. Well, and even
you get all these different inspirations. You go to all these places. You see what they do different. Like Rockford closed down. Grundy's incorporating a lot of Rockford ideas. And for the last couple of years, they've been really struggling with ambulance crews. And finally, Illiana always had their own ambulance. South Bend, Plymouth have their own ambulance. Grundy finally got on board. They bought their own ambulance, hired an EMT crew. So it's like it seeing all these ideas kind of just go between all of the tracks and hey, I like how you're doing that. I'm going to do that too. And okay, well, I like the way you do that. It's good. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And you mentioned kind of everybody taking a little bit from everybody and evolving, and the ambulance crew and everything else. And like you mentioned, Tony, every time he goes somewhere, obviously he's had ties with Hartford from the dirt side. And when we had him on here, we talked about, well, do we keep the Gambler and we bring that from South Bend over to Plymouth, So yeah, race design is, I think, now important. And you talk about also class design, with that late model class that he's got, out there at the Shadyhill Speedway too.
Yeah, he's Billy's a forward thinker. He's not afraid to do his thing.
That is one thing that the entire time we've known him, Billy has never been afraid to be Billy.
Yeah, and you got to respect that.
Yeah,
you may not like it, but you have to respect it. And in 2017, him and Tammy took this track under their management, and I've been to Shadyhill once prior to 2018, and I was in high school. I was just hanging out with some buddies in the pits. I mean, I couldn't tell you how the night was really ran or not. I didn't go back until I became the photographer. I can tell you that.
I've heard some horror stories about Free Billy Shadyhill.
I do know that there is quite the reputation that Shadyhill has across the race scene, and I feel like Billy and Tammy are making strides to change that. Is the track perfect? No, but neither is Kankakee, neither is Fairbury, neither is Farmer. Wherever you race, it's not always going to be a perfect track.
Our good buddy Bob.
Yeah, Dirty Bob.
So he has said to me on numerous occasions is, no matter how bad the track is, everybody's got a race on it. Yeah, it's no worse for one driver than another. That's how it is that night.
Yeah, it's typically what you hear them complain about is that damn divot in turn one, ruined my shock, and now I got to replace the shock. And
everybody else drove through turn one.
Right, exactly. You just got unlucky and didn't miss that divot or crater. If you did hit it, I'm sure it felt like a crater. But yeah, I mean, I really applaud them and all that they do to make this thing go. You know, and we talked about it, Gas City Montpelier. They haven't heard a peep out of them on Facebook, and everyone's like, "Where's the schedule at?"
Right.
I haven't seen one. Are they racing this year? Who knows?
Yeah.
You know.
So definitely kudos to them for trying to think outside the box, putting a full schedule together, and
just like Grundy's the last standing asphalt weekly track in Illinois. Period. Shadyhill's the last standing weekly dirt track in north.
Well, in that county at least.
Well, I think probably like all in northern Indiana. You know, I mean Hartford, southern Michigan. That's probably the closest one. Circle City runs Fridays down in Indy. Kokomo, but Kokomo runs a weird like one race a month kind of schedule. They get some big names, they get some big shows, which is good for them. But yeah, I mean that the weekly racing kind of is really dying off. And if you do scroll Facebook on the race side of things, you see a lot of tracks closing down, running limited schedules, and Billy touched on it with all the streaming. That doesn't sell beer and hot dogs.
Yeah.
And how does the track survive? Beer and hot dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And popcorn and corn dogs.
And corn dogs.
And beer.
Corn dogs and beer.
Yeah.
Just not a practice.
Yeah, right.
Corn dogs, yes. Beer, no.
Yeah, no. I guess I'll pack it cooler.
But, they talked about a lot to look forward to. A lot of the events to look forward to.
Enduro.
The Enduro, that keeps coming up.
We're 4 for 4.
Yeah, got them all. All of them in the Enduro.
Can we personally put a bounty on Ryan Lagasty?
You can, the Good Acre Design, Good Acre Photography Bounty.
Okay, you beat Ryan Lagasty, Brian will buy you a hot dog.
A corn dog.
Not an $8 one. You got to come to Shady Hill.
Where's the last Enduro of the year at?
I think Grundy
with the
$8 hot dog.
The $8 hot dog.
You're going to get the little kid hot dog. I don't get paid enough for this.
Cut it up, put it in mac and
That
cheese.
makes two of us.
Wait, who's getting paid?
When did we get ice cream?
Oh man, good stuff. But yeah, man, they did. Kudos to you for the interview on them. Obviously, they were got them to open up. Be that honest. With us, which is always good.
Got a little political, but whatever.
Well, I mean, it's just
it's racing. That's dirt racing too.
That's the company we keep.
The nature we live in, also, in the community and
global
spectrum here anymore. So
he's not wrong. Gas prices are much higher than they were.
Yeah, prices for everything.
Shit, a grocery cart.
$8 hot dog.
yeah, that's exactly back to that. But yeah,
it is a really good hot dog though. Don't skimp on the food at Grundy.
Yeah, it's worth the price.
Yeah, so. That's another PSA, for the week. But looking ahead, some of the things we got coming up this next week, maybe the next episode here in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm going to preview the Richard Craven Memorial and the Mars event. I think you've lined up maybe to
that one was on YouTube.
Stephen Brooks.
I am waiting for confirmation that, yes, he's agreed to it, but I messaged him this afternoon to reconfirm, and I am... If anybody knows, I'm looking for some information on Richard Craven to kind of make that show a little bit better and talk Richard Craven up. I know, I believe he was CR Towing, sponsored a lot of guys. It's still around. They're a big supporter of Kankakee County. So I'm thinking he was a dirt guy. I know we talked to Billy about him, and they're running the 4 classes that he raced when he was a racer. So my source was unable to come up with anything. So if anybody out there listening knows anything about Richard Craven, please message me.
And there you go. So we got that in the works maybe for our next episode here in the next couple of weeks. Coming up this weekend, hopefully, weather permitting, and I'm just going to say that just because this is
that's going to be the theme of this season.
Rain on Friday, but sunny and 75 Saturday and Sunday.
So we got Grundy opening night, official opening night for the standard week. We can't use that really, but the week classes.
The normal Grundy classes have opening night.
Yes,
it's
Saturday.
not the 2 weeks before the season starts. Spring Classic that's now 1 week before. The regular classes. Super Lates, Mid-Am, Street Stocks, Pure Stocks, Super Cup. You'd think I put the graphic together.
Yeah, you put it together. You should know, but
I was like 1,000 pictures deep in 1,800 when I put that together. So I remember doing it. I don't remember what's on it.
Yep, a lot going on there at Good Acre Photography and Good Acre Design. Some race teams keeping you guys busy working on race
I don't
car
know who those
designs.
guys are.
I don't either. They're picky, and they got a lot of sponsors.
We're gonna have to talk about compensation for work.
You talk with my car owner.
Yeah, the compensation is you get to put the wrap on.
Yeah, you get to install it.
Great. We're gonna reward your hard work with more work.
Isn't that how work works?
I guess.
He does have beer.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go.
No,
Yeah.
not
There
your
you go.
kind.
Yeah.
He has beer.
I
So
drink Coors Light. I saw him
That's
drinking a
fine.
Coors Light today.
yeah,
Yeah, as long as it's not the red one.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
yeah. So
Yeah, so we got a concert at Plymouth. You know, they're doing their Cinco de Mayo. What is it?
It's more than
Mexican
a concert.
rodeo.
It's more like
it's a
festival.
whole,
Yeah.
It's a big ass party.
yeah, so we got that coming up. So it's a lot of good times. We are getting into it.
Oh, Kankakee's got the pushed back Jody. I can't think of his last name. The first place oils
Yes.
memorial for 4 cylinders Friday night.
A lot coming
Yeah,
up.
I always called him Jody Gordon, I think.
Yeah,
I
that's
never
it,
actually.
Jody Gordon.
Yeah, okay. See, I just knew him as Jody, the oil guy, and
Yeah.
you know, I miss him. We didn't agree on reflective decals, but he was a good guy.
Yeah.
I don't think you agree with just about anybody in reflective decals.
Definitely not Jason Moorhead, but everybody else seems to be on the right
Yeah.
page.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Which he was at the
I
Enduro
saw-
until
I
he
saw.
wasn't.
Yeah, I saw until something important in the engine let go.
Uh-huh.
One of the internals became external, but he didn't even put reflective numbers on it for you.
Well, it was during the day. That wouldn't have mattered.
Well, we'll figure it out. Chrome or something that really aggravates you.
I can work chrome. It's just that 3M ambulance reflective stuff. That's problematic.
Yeah, that does happen. Website, how's the website stuff going? You got racing to worry about. We can
So
worry about
as I
website
told one of the guys that messaged me this week, you know, we were talking about different packages. That was all kind of built into the website, and at this point, that is stripped down to the frame, and I am looking for a new engine builder. To continue the analogy, yeah, where we're sitting with what I had built, I really can't get into what I built because something internal became external, and now I got to figure out how to make it back internal, and probably going to end up just building a new one again.
I love when he talks about all that with I and not we.
How much have you done on this website?
I've asked you every time we hung out.
Exactly.
How's it
asked
coming?
about it.
How's it coming?
Well, you saw it.
Yeah,
It was all
I
there,
did.
and then
That
as
was-
soon as we tried to switch over to it, all
that
fell
was a
apart.
good website.
You're like, that looks good.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about it.
That's
but it
exactly what I
looks
said.
great.
I said that looks really good.
See, you're just a visual guy, right?
I'm a visual guy.
You're the tester. You're like beta tester.
Right.
Yeah.
Say, hey, go to this, make sure people can use it. Yeah, it all looks good. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Now start using it.
Nope.
Nope.
Nope, can't do it.
Nothing.
So
yeah, that hurts still. It's kind of like your little Tig's late model.
I know that's just a burn, man.
That was funny.
Just a burn.
So, but we had the old website was still in one piece, so I just switch everything back to that, and
You can still email us. You can still message us.
Yeah,
on
everything
Facebook.
on that one still works. So just upload into that while I continue. You know, kind of like people we know that they've got the one car that's working, and then they got the project car in the back of the garage.
I don't know anybody like that. I don't know anybody like that. I don't know
That's
your
sometimes we're looking at putting stuff on it, and sometimes it's a storage rack.
Most of the times it's a storage rack, but I still don't have any idea what you're talking about. So yeah, goodacrephotography.com, Good Acre Photography, or Good Acre Design on Instagram and Facebook on the
Big
socials.
designers.
Yeah. We can design your wrap. Brian can suffer
Shirts.
through installing the wrap. We can do shirts. We got
Get your driver cards.
yeah, we can definitely get that on because we
Yeah.
got autograph night coming up soon.
Yeah. Quick. Those are early.
Yeah. We can just talk about pushing that later in the schedule, but I think we're going to get a lot of argument from our promoters.
Yeah. We do good work.
We do.
Our word don't, we don't have as much pull.
Yeah, you're biased. It's okay.
Thanks for your hard work. We'll manage everything else.
So that works. So before we wrap up this evening, we'll do with our hashtag One Positive segment from One Positives from the last weekend in racing. Be sure if you want to play along here with us. Down in the comments below, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, or whatever, put your hashtag One Positive from the racetrack. If you've been out trackside this year so far, something you liked, something you experienced at the racetrack that you thought was a positive thing that everybody needs to talk about. Bill, you mentioned it on here, how social media and stuff can kind of skew things one way or another. So we want to spread that positivity and put a positive message out there about some of these local racetracks, because Lord knows everything anymore is negative on the internet. So we want that positive. So who wants to lead off their one positive from this past weekend?
Why are you both looking at me?
It's just a natural thing. Rochambeau, I don't know, whatever.
I went first last week.
You did.
Okay, my turn then.
Last week, 2 weeks
Sure.
ago. 2 weeks ago.
Or Jeremy's turn.
You know what? I'll go first.
You go first.
I'll go first.
No longer a rabbit in your egress.
I know that is positive. My positive, I talked about it a little ago, was the car counts for the Spring Classic. You know, especially for like the Super Cup division, it looked pretty good. Especially with some of the changeover from the Midwest Super Cup Series, now with American coming in and Grundy kind of doing their own thing. You know, you never really know how that's gonna change when you change division and how the car counts are going to be, but it was strong. Big 8 late models looked like they put on a good strong showing. The car count there, and I know the weather was kind of a little iffy, you know, heading into the weekend. So good car counts makes for good racing. You know, the more cars that can race, the better. So that's going to be my hashtag one positive from last weekend.
All right. Well, since mine's almost verbatim the same thing, hashtag one positive, we raced this weekend. So it was looking real bad there for a while, and admittedly, the infield at Grundy was a little spongy in places and a little swimming pool-y in other places.
It was like Lake Lloyd down at Daytona.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, the new asphalt looks great. We got the race in. You know, they had a storm go through, I think, the night before. And then there was another one that went through later that night. So the fact that we got all that done in... You know, the mid-ams ran caution-free, and of course that we had to pay for that with the rest of the night.
Naturally, you know.
But yeah, we're racing. It's race season.
Should probably take a moment and, you know, send our prayers and condolences and best wishes to all those that lived through the storm in Texas and Nebraska. Those were some pretty terrifying videos.
I've seen a lot of the videos over the last few days, and it was insane.
Just as much as terrifying as it is to see that stuff, it was pretty fucking cool.
Well, I'm one of those weather nerds that kind of like seeing some of that stuff. That's weird.
Some of those photos. That wedge tornado in Nebraska was huge. It's such a cool photo. Terrible, you know, obviously terrible. You don't want to see that.
Keep it all in perspective. But
I mean, we want to hope people, you know, rebound quickly. I've seen some pretty good, funny TikToks about the alarm system saying back doors open and they're walking through the house. It's a mess and they close it and like that's the only thing standing. There's a wall there. That should do it, you know. So it's good to see people making light of such a serious situation. But cool pictures. Terrible happened, and thank God we got in before that made its way to Illinois.
He put a real downer on the positivity section.
What's your positive out of this?
What's the positive now?
That we beat the rain. My positive
getting all choked up.
My one positive is all the promoters and track staff and people that make large sacrifices for us to do what we do. And, you know, whether you're a race fan having a beer and a hot dog, or you're a photographer, you know, freelance, or, you know, track, what's the word I'm thinking
Words
of?
are hard.
Oh my God. Contracted to a track, you know, you're shooting for the track, or all the racers and their families and friends that work on their cars and put them together to get to the racetrack so that we can have the large car counts. All the staff members that, you know, clean the porta potties, clean the bathrooms and change the urinal cakes. And, you know, we were sitting out in the infield and at Grundy, and Chris had the radio, and you hear them over the radio. They had to clean out the men's bathroom, you know, it's clogged up. And so was it Mike and Rich? Yeah. Mike and Rich took off out of the infield, saved the day.
Yeah, delayed the start of the race just a little bit.
So those are the people that you need to thank on, you know, when you get a chance to on race day. They all have thankless jobs.
Guy, every time I talk to Mike and Rich out there, you know, it's like they're telling me they started working about 4:00 the night before and just been working all straight through, getting everything ready for race day. The amount of work they put in, you know, Billy and Tammy during the week. So, like they talked about, they don't have a staff. It's Billy and Tammy, and sometimes Dave comes out.
Yeah. So those from every track, not just the ones we cover and go to and talk about. Every track that's still operating, you are the one positive. You're what keeps this thing going, man. So thank you.
Yep. And we want to thank all of you out there, if you've made it this far, for watching here on YouTube. listening. If you're an audio podcast listener, I'll give special thanks to Billy and Tammy from the Shadyhill Speedway for coming out to the show this week.
That's ShadyhillSpeedway.com for info, or follow them on Facebook at Shadyhill Speedway. Look for the Wide Open Wednesdays for information.
Yes, which is a great feature. Again, part of that transparency and kind of open, down-to-earth communication that they do, which is great. So, reminder, like and subscribe if you're watching us on the YouTube page. Hit the buttons, do all the things. Helps you get notified. Just helps us kind of jump up the algorithms and all that good stuff. So you see more of us, which I know you kind of want to see. It's kind of what we do here. Also, audio podcast listener, Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts, however you like to take it in. Just subscribe, rate, review for the same reasons as on the YouTube page. If you are only audio, head over to YouTube. Check it out, or vice versa.
We want to get to 3.7 million views.
Yeah, I'd just take 3.700 views at this point.
I'll take 3.7.
Yeah. Well,
Hey, we're getting at least 100.
We're ticking up. We're in the right direction. We're 3 digits.
We're 3 digits,
which is a lot better than what we used to be. So we're getting there.
Didn't you just talk to some people that are listening to the podcast? You had no idea they were.
Oh my god, the guy. I assume Carter Appleton's dad, whoever was in Victory Lane. Hey, good show. I'm like, yeah, Grundy does a good job. He goes, no, I listen to you guys. I'm like, oh, that show.
Getting kudos and didn't even know it. Look at him go.
Yeah. Awesome.
So we appreciate everybody out there. Also, if you want to follow along with us, get news, info, updates about postings and episodes that we've got coming out, and to see where we're at, what we're doing. Illiana SCR, Illiana Stock Car Radio on Facebook and Instagram. We are there as well. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed our entire series of the 2024 season previews that we've done on our local tracks. And I know we're excited to get to the racetrack. We hope you are as well. And we also hope that you are excited to join us here next time on Illiana Stock Car Radio.